Alrighty, Doc, and good evening somewhere on this planet. Where are we today? As you can see, there's the dollar index, and I was just taking a peek at gold there, but let's put the dollar index there too. There it is on the beta. You see a second day pushing up. Over on J4X, you got 3 green bars on the daily up in here. See that strength? And we're already launched up into what's that, the 86 already? Wow, we're really moving with the 61 on the slow. So that's, we're pushing hard internally, the technical analysis. Let me just double check the sound, make sure that's working too. You hear the sound? Oh, yep, there, I hear the sound. That's good enough. All right, yeah, so technical analysis, you can see it's pushing in the upside there. What do we got going on here? Let's take a look at it over on the old platform that we're trying to move away from and have our own platform. Let's put it there. There's the dollar index right there. And let's shine a light on that. Let there be light. And there it is too. Same thing. Strength, the turning up. We've been in a weekly sell. You can see it's really flirting. It is. It's flirting with that weekly buy situation. Very close. They're all three are through the manifold, and you can see that strength. It's just inching its way. Oh, where's that mouse again? Right there. And, it's through the manifold itself, heading for the positive territory, which would push us into the weekly buy. So daily buys lead to weekly buys. Now I've not been too convinced that they were going to be reaching for dollars here. One way or the other, just another dead cat bounce. Basically, that's what it comes. Oh, we got some people on the tape today. Hello, Robin. Traders ask any market questions. Yes, indeed, anything. Forex, stocks, ETFs. Good morning to you, Fisher. How you doing? Hey, sir. Would you suggest against binary options? No, not at all. It's a bull spread or a bear spread. It's just buying one option, selling another. Doc, should I get you a new demo account? I am doing retard experiments on that one, and it might have someone think that you doing it. No, not particular. I don't care. They can see on my what do you call it? Unless it bothers you, no, it's fine with me. You can see the videos, and you see how we look at all the 3 products. Unless it disturbs your situation, no, I'm fine with it. It's no problem with me. You can do trades during it. It doesn't bother me any. I don't pay attention to them. I've always been. Let's take that conversation a little bit further. Besides the binary or forex for Fisher, but let me just say this first, and we'll go talk about the binary situation. I've never been a fan of worrying what someone is doing. I've been such a partisan on my math and my work that I find that if someone says, oh, I'm buying this, or you see them buying something, I have no idea if you're covering a short, getting long, adding gamma to your option position, or vice versa, getting short in your options position. So in other words, I never pay attention when someone's buying and selling stuff. I don't believe, unless I actually see the account itself 100%, which I don't have the time to waste to pay attention to begin with. But I don't pay attention to it. In other words, you do what you do, I do what I do. I do my work through the technical analysis. You're doing whatever you're doing on yours, and I don't really pay attention. A lot of people love to know what other people are doing. Now, obviously, that would help my webinar more if people would pay attention. But no, I don't really care. And as long as it's not interfering with whatever you're doing, it's fine with me. And to be honest, I don't pay attention to it at all. Technical analysis or anything else, or trend lines or whatever. I don't care. We have our math. We're going to follow our math. We don't care what anybody else does. It's your business, not mine. And again, we never know why you're doing it. You could have all this, like Fisher's talking about binaries, right? Well, you have a binary on. Let's say you're short a binary, and your work tells you that you need to get a little long at the moment. Well, instead of taking off the binary, you go in there and you buy the underlying product. That's one way of dealing with it. You might be have a binary on the put side, and you might be selling, but you're not really bearish. You're just trying to adjust your, the gains possibly in the binary. So I mean, to me, I've never paid attention to what other people do. It's only when it's something enormous, like you trade 500,000 contracts and something. Well, I'll pay attention, and even then, I don't like paying attention because you just don't know what the other side of that is. I've mentioned this again, and here again, Fisher, we're not dodging your binary or forex in between binary or forex. I'm not dodging that question. It's just that it feeds into that question what I'm talking about. I used to have what was his name? Paul. What the hell's his last name? Tudor Jones. Used to be. We used to do his trades in the office, and I could remember seeing like Tudor Jones just bought 5,000 crude contracts, and it's like, okay, and we know at the same time he was out buying or selling like 4,000 or 5,000 calls, even more, overextended, even not even turning into a buy right, even more, like more calls than he bought futures contracts. Or I saw him one time selling puts, and at the same time that makes him long, and at the same time he was selling oil contracts, and all the media reports is that he's doing the futures contracts. Doesn't talk about the options at all. So, I really try to steer clear of paying attention to what people are doing, solely because most of the time you don't see the whole picture. Now, when it comes to the binaries themselves, all the binary is you're buying one call and possibly selling another, or buying one put or selling another, or vice versa, selling a call spread, and you're protecting your short. And obviously, if it expires, you make money without getting exercised. And the same thing on the put side. So no, I'm a big fan of binaries. I talk about them here all the time. You have any questions on a particular product and you're thinking about something, we can always kick around the strike price and the idea and the length and all that other stuff. So no, I'm a big fan of options trading, and been doing it since the late 70s. And so as far as I'm concerned, there's no problem there. Okay, I hope that answered your question there, and I hope that also answered your question there, Giannis. I don't care. I don't pay attention. All right. And who is it for me to say if that's ridiculous or not? If I don't know your whole position, I don't know. How can I make a decision if it's smart, stupid, retard, or whatever you want to call it? Why'd you say retard? I think that's politically incorrect in these days, but I'm right there with you. You're doing extreme experiments, and that's how we learn, by following, different concepts. So no, I'm all pro that. Okay. I hope I answered any questions there, and if you have any others, fire away. So where were we? Oh, yes. I'm not really convinced that the dollar is going to go that much up or that much down. I really think we're really stuck in a very choppy, sideways mess. I think that I think there's some profit taking going on in the significant seven, or the heavenly seven, or whatever you want to call the seven tech companies that were being bought all last year, and pushed the NASDAQ itself up 44% for the year, which is a big number compared to the 24% for the S&Ps and almost a 14% for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So no, I'm not convinced that there's a lot of what we used to say on the trading floors. We refer to it as not commitment, but conviction. Conviction is when you believe in something, or you have the desire to do something, you go out and you do it. And the conviction, how big is that conviction? And that shows how much, in this case here, I don't think that the markets have a lot of conviction in trying to put a position on. I think all they're trying to do now is adjust. There's a concern. Once we get past, look, the first big test is on the 15th of January. That's a big day, because they do the Iowa caucus. And if Mr. Trump wins by 51 or 54 or 55 or 58% of the vote, that's going to take the market and put it into a supercharged position. He is polling so big in so many areas, and now we want to see votes, actual votes from the voters. And if his votes match up even greater than like the tail on a bond market, when the Fed does its bond auctions and you get a tail, that's how we're looking at it in trading. We're looking for the tail. We want to see what the tail is going to be, and that's going to have an effect on the markets. So, and then you have January 19th, where the government may shut down because the House of Representatives wants the border closed. The border is wide open. They just took somebody that was wielding a machete or something in front of the Capitol building. It's the things are just nuts. And the guy had been arrested 2 years ago. He's an illegal alien. They let him loose. Now he's in ICE or by the border police, and up in Washington D.C. I'm talking about. And so, there's a lot of noise going on right now. There's a lot of confusion going on right now. Money's not sure where to go. Money likes safe places. Money likes return. As much as QE has confused the general public over the last 14 years, or is it 16 now? 16 years of what minus interest rates and things like that basically have had the public confused about understanding investing to begin with. But in this case here, it's very clear. Money always likes safe bets. They like to invest in things they're going to get their capital back on. They like to get the return they're hoping to get. Sometimes they get more, sometimes they get less, but what they like is all their money back with a little extra. And so at this point, the markets are trying to figure out where we're going and how. Because if Mr. Biden and his party have any power going into 225, the financial markets will collapse. They will collapse. They'll start to run to the borders as time goes on, because taxes are going to go flying up. The Trump tax cuts are going to expire from 2018, and the economy will roll over. It will roll over. So, money is trying to figure out what's going on, and with Trump polling so big, markets are calmer from it, not crazier from it. All right, what else can we say about the dollar index besides it's bouncing up right now, and you can see it here and on J4X that it's showing a little more strength, but nothing that has got me too excited. Let's put it that way. All right, from there, I did show it to you on the there it is on the beta. That's the dollar index. So, just showing the strength. The weekly, a little surprising there, where the weekly is actually backing off on our beta, whereas over here, you can see it's moving up. Same thing here on J4X. You can see moving up, and we'll see how tomorrow brings. With that Monday off, it kind of confuses our new beta thing. We'll see. Sometimes that we've noticed that the beta is something like 14 out of 16 times right on the weekly. That's a pretty good number. So we'll see if it's trying to tell us something there. The only problem is that the weekly beta, or the weekly signal on the beta, is a day behind, whereas the rest is up to date on the beta. All right. From there, we'll go over to the euro. Take a look at the euro future. Right there. You see the euro future has been in the sell for a few days there. The weekly is still very firm. And let's put it up on J4X. Let's see. Let me see. Euro on the wall. Right there. You see a couple days in the sell there. See that pressure? The fast is at 11. The slow is at 31. So it's like, 67% difference. Woof. 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 All right, over here. And there is the euro there. You can see the same thing. We got 3 days in the sell. You see the weekly is drifting further south. It looks like both of them are breaking through the manifold. Yep. And so we'll see if this brings it onto the minus. I don't have strong convictions. As I've said, I've given you my reason. I think this is a very noisy first quarter, and until we see all the primary situation go on, that will be the first shoe to drop to confirm where the markets are going. All right, let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. Cable and all the little cables around the Commonwealth. You see there, this is going on a second day, but not really budging much. But, you see where the arrow is. That weekly is, right, let's see, where'd the mouse go? I guess it's right there. You see right there where the arrow is on the screen, and it's breaking underneath the zero line. So we're really trying to push into the sell. Now, we've been impressed with the gains. It's been a decent 2023 for the cable against the dollar. Not as great as what the Swiss was against the dollar, or what the euro is against the dollar. But as I take a sip of my tea here, it's showing like an interesting life. It's very firm up there. It's like a plateau. Again, I'm not expecting much. Now we have the Fed coming out today at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or New York time, and spilling their beans about whatever, putting out their, I guess, the in between minutes type of thing from 6 weeks ago. So that'll have some effect. They're talking about maybe he'll back off the dovishness. I don't know. The bigger question is, a lot of people do not believe that the Fed is going to lower interest rates in March. To me, if they're going to start playing with them, it would be June or July, going into the election, so that at least the Democrats can say, look, we're doing really well. Bidenomics is working. All that other stuff. So they need to push it right towards the election, because right now people are very frustrated with the president and his Senate. All right, from there we look at the number one right there. There's the Swiss. Swiss is going on a second day at a buy. Let's steal one of these greens right there. Going second day into the buy. Let's widen it out a little bit like so. You see we've been in the weekly sell now from right there. Since back in October, mid-October, we went into the sell in the 90 area, and it found its way down to 83 area. And now we're getting a little daily bounce, and you can see the weekly is trying to turn a little bit more. Interesting. So. What else have we got brewing there? I don't see any more questions either. I guess we could say that what's the title of our webinar today? Oh, wouldn't it have been nice? Binaries. Why we like them. That would be a cool one. I need a piece of gum or something. Ooh, that's what I need right there. Take a sip of water. That's better. So we'll come up with I'd like to talk about binaries and options, but it seems like at this point the conversation has dried up with Fisher. But I think I might call this this webinar, since we're almost halfway through it. Binaries are a good tool. I think that's the way I look at it. Binaries are a good tool, and they are. Options are a great tool. Binaries are a great tool, and it limits your risk, sets up opportunity for gain, and depending on what you're doing there, selling premium or just an aggressive bull spread or bear spread or something like that, you're only going to lose what you put into it. And if you use good technical analysis, worst case scenario probably is you lose only what you want, because you can always have a stop in there and get rid of that. But when you're naked long or naked short options, it's a whole different story. It's like being in the hard delta itself. and the forex. And what happens is that a big move can really hinder you or hurt you, stop you out, and then watch it turn around, change directions on you. A day later, and you're like, if you had the binaries on, you would be still riding it, and you would know what your risk was, and the whole bit. So binary, uh, binaries, and options are great tools. That should be the title today. I like that. So, all right. From there, do we have the G? Oh, let's put the GBP up on J4X. Right there. You can see right there, 126s are offered, 126.28s, 27s are bid for. What else can we say about any of that? Let's see. Where's the 6B? Right there. There's a futures contract. You see it closed in the weekly sell last week. Now it's flirting with a pop right back into the buy again. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Like I said, Monday and Tuesday are kind of a little choppy because of it all. You can see we're in that daily sell now for like 4 days, is it? And what is it over here? I think it's only 2 days. There it is, right there. There we go. What did she say? Huh. All right, so now from there we'll put up the Swiss itself. I think I had the Swiss up there, didn't I? So let's go back to that Swiss. Binaries had me all excited. Oof, I like binaries. Oh yeah, that's it. We had the Swiss up there, and there's the green line and all like that. And it's trying to turn up, but it's further away than the rest of them when it comes to the weekly. Let's take a look at it over on J4X. There it is right there. Going a second day. The weekly's at 63.7. Slow is at 47 even basically. So you're looking at somewhere around a 17% difference. It's nice and steady, consistent, not pushing too hard, but not falling down. It's a slow, steady grind. And like I said, I think that at this point, I really believe that the Swiss is probably one of the best trades at the moment when it comes to, in opposition to the dollar. If you don't want to be in dollars, Swiss seems to be the place to be. All right. From there, we go over to the yen. Yen jumped into the daily buy yesterday by the hair of its teeth, and look at that. Today, they're really jacking it. Let's give it a green. Here's steal this green. So it went into the buy yesterday. You can see the weekly is trying to turn up. We really seems to, we've seen all this situation with the LDP. Oh, I know it's also going on in China, in Japan. Also, is that earthquake? The stock market's been closed for a couple of days because of the earthquake. Also, at the same time, so that could be a little of the pressure you're seeing on the Japanese yen against the dollar. It looks like no real problems overall. Unfortunately, there's about 70 or 80 people now found dead in that area where the earthquake hit. We got hit with a 5. We got just a glancing hit from a 5x CME off the sun on Saturday afternoon, and those things instigate earthquakes and volcano eruptions all the time. And there's a book out there on it that this group predicts earthquakes and volcano eruptions almost perfectly, following activity on the sun in our solar system. So that was not that much of a surprise to me. We just have to see where the solar wind is hitting the Earth, where the Earth is, leaning, because it was on the left side of the sun as it's moving towards us. So when it exploded as a 5x, which is one of the biggest what is it? They call them coronal mass ejections in the last 5 years. It was a biggie, and so it, through that, and next thing you know is you got a massive earthquake. So that's not that surprising. And then now I think the rest is starting to hit the earth as we speak today, but it's much milder at this point. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's see. What are we looking at there? We are looking at the yen. So let's put the yen up on J4X there. Right there. You see they're trying to put some strength into that too right there, right now. The fast is at 63. Slow at 45. Not bad. That's it's like a 29% premium. Pretty aggressive there. So from there we go over to the great experiment. Heard this morning that inflation is at 62% in Turkey. 62%. Wow, huh? Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Do I see anything in particular? No, let's see. I'm not seeing any more news about the sun, so it's not really kicking out. That's about it. Okay. Yeah, so we could even show you the blast if you want to see the blast. I could put it up on the screen. All right. So from there, what else we got going on? Now let's take a look at the Turkish lira, as we were saying, the great experiment. And inflation at 61%, interest rates at 36%. Tough times. Did not close at an all-time high yesterday. I can see it's just a leaky little thing at the moment. Still in that buy since early September. It keeps on playing. It's in a daily sell now. Let's throw that in there. I went into the daily sell yesterday. Like anybody really wants to short this thing. Not much more we can say about the great experiment. It's not that I've lost interest. I just don't want to reveal any more projections on the poor thing, because every time we reveal a projection, it happens. And that's been really ugly for the last 10 years. We've been projecting the numbers, and they keep on coming true over a 2 or 3 month period or 2 week period and things like that. So at this point, I really feel sad. I want to say it has hit the Rubicon in a sense. The Turkish lira now is in a dangerous position to the point where it could go ruble. In other words, just like the way the ruble went from 4 to 13, or like 9, and then 9 to 13 and 15, and we had the long-term capital problem back in the 90s, and then next thing you know, it was in the 20s and the 30s and bouncing around, and then now, with the crazy invasion into Ukraine, it's touched the century mark, 100 ruble to the dollar. Is that ridiculous or what? But I am afraid that the Turkish lira is heading for some odd calamity, where the numbers just become unrealistic. And so I'm refraining from divulging any possible numbers anymore. We'll just follow the math. We know it's in a weekly buy. Obviously, you do not want to be short. It's gone into the daily sell. Be taking profits from all the gains you had from back here. And it went into the daily buy and weekly buy there. So, if you're not taking profits out of some of that, then you'll never make money in this market. And I'm not talking about that market. I'm talking about all markets. You don't go wrong by taking profits. All right. From the yen, we go over to the South African rand. And that'll show us the metals complex. And where is ZAR? There is ZAR right there. And you can see it's really popping up, isn't it? Let's take a look at over here on the... There's ZAR right there, same thing. And that would tell us basically that the... let's just widen that a little bit. It's been real sloppy. Look at all the buy, weekly buy, then weekly sell, then weekly buy, then weekly sell. Now we're just right back in the saddle again. It's getting very close to being definitely into another weekly buy. So, and we could see this thing go through the 19s again. And you can see, I can see, you can see, we can see that the metals contracts, there's the gold, there's the gold. And gold is trying to find ways to go down, and we're in a daily sell. The weekly is pierced right there. I'm not sure why we're getting a little bouncy bounce out of it on the beta. Let's go look at the beta. But it is what it is. Let's see what let's see what J4X is doing with the gold. Right there. There we go. And as the weekly kicks in up on the J4X, we can say this about that, and then is that gold has had a great move, about 10% for last year. Not bad. It's funny. Gold is a very interesting laggard in many ways. It does what it's supposed to do, but it does it over a much bigger period, and because it's so easy to execute in, that people don't understand why it lags. But it's like it's not really a leading indicator. It's like a confirming indicator because I don't see it lagging. But all this movement, with inflation running up to 10%, gold didn't take it serious, and it had good reason not to take it serious. And so that has been fascinating in that sense over the decades. I remember the crash of 1987. I remember looking at the gold contract, and all it was up is $50. Here we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average down, was it 25%, something like that? And gold is only up $50. So, it doesn't do exactly what you expect it to do in the short term, but it does it overall in the long term, and that's why gold is always a nice long-term investment. In the short term, binaries seem to be the way to play the product. All right, and you can see it there, and there's the weekly on J4X. It's at 47.9. The slow is at 45.5. So it's trying to put some more strength into it. For the last 3 weeks, it's been pressing on the upside. Let's see. Let's try this. That's there. Let's go 3 weeks back. Oh, let's try last week's back. Last week's back was 42 and change. In the case here, it was 48. So it was in the sell. So that wasn't in a buy for that, because we needed both these two and that to join together. Then on the next week, right there, it was at 41.3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. And that was at 57, so that was still in a bearish mode or neutral. Both of these are neutral. So now we're finally getting into like a weekly buy. It's trying to climb into it because that's at 47.5, 47.8. And this is at 45.5 basically. So it's trying to climb. At the same time, we can see with the South African rand rolling over, in other words, it's losing against the dollar, and you can see the where was I at? And then you can see at the same time over on our old platform there, it's pushing into a weekly sell, and in the beta went into the weekly sell. It's already in the beta, and that's fooling around with a weekly buy now, which we're figuring that will clean itself up over by. We'll see how it is by Friday. So, oh, you can't see that. Let's show you that. There it is. So I went into the weekly sell last week. From there, let's take a look at silver. There's the silver. Silver's been in a sell from here. It's been, I want to call it leaky more than it is aggressive. And you can see it closed in the weekly sell last week. And, that pressure's on that. Let's take a look at it over on J4X. Okay, there it is right there. You can see that on the beta. So you can see the daily sell going on there for, was it 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's a 2, 4, 6, 7. And you can see here it's been in a weekly sell 3 days back and trying to lift up a little bit today on the weekly signal. So that's what I mean is the beta's weekly signal has been, even with it being a day behind, we're still working on the code to straighten that out. But even so, it's more accurate on the weekly signal than on our platform now, just by a little bit. So that's pretty interesting. That's why we're been working on it for 4 or 5 months, and we've allowed people to use it. And if you have an interest in using it, contact Robin. And you can see him up on the chat line there, Robin. You can yak to Robin and say, Robin. All right. From there, we go to copper. The earthquake didn't seem to have much of an effect on China. Their markets are open, and they're all seem to be down anyway, the equity markets in particular. You see the weekly is trying to pierce. And it seems like the metals complex is definitely feeling pain. Hey, Robin, is the chat line working or what? I guess it is. Let's see. Let me see. I'm signing in again because it seems like my chat line seems awful quiet. It is. Okay. Thank you, Giannis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So from there, with copper kind of, as we always say, we think that when we look at copper, we're really looking at the Chinese market. And so it's been, we felt that they painted the tape. We said this over and over for over a month now, a month and a half, all since towards the end of November, that they were painting the tape. Them and 4 other central banks were painting the tape. And what does that mean by painting the tape? They were buying, at the end of the day, pushing prices up. And so, we saw a great move in November and December in stock equities and metals complex going against normal trends. So we assumed that they were, pushing into those markets. I hate to repeat myself like a 6th time on painting the tape, but they were being aggressive and they were stepping in, and we thought, oh geez, in January, the beginning of the year, you don't want to be long these things. They're going to try to find a way to go down, and here we are. You can see that they are trying to go down. Again, a good reason again to be investing with the binaries and so forth. So that's copper. Let's see how copper looks over on J4X on a weekly. Right there. And let's see how copper looks on beta. Beta. HG. HG, where are you, HG? Bingo. Okay, so that is not, but the daily, look at the daily on that thing. Whew. Daily's been pushing down and down and down right there. Whereas on ours, or both over ours, but you see we were in the daily sell here on the beta, pushed into that daily sell even sooner back in here about 8 or 9 days back. And the weekly still having its problems. It almost got into the sell last week. And we'll see if it rolls over by the end of this week. The beta is trying to tell us there's pressure there. Now you can see J4X telling us the same thing on the weekly. Fast is at 64.7, slow at 73.5. So it's a go, 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 go. Look at that, a red hinky, and the slow is breaking down below the fast. I'm sorry, the fast is breaking down below the slow. And that's what's going on there. All right, testing 1, 2. Dun, break out one of your guitars, Robin. Dun, dun. Money, 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 money. Tommy James and the Shandellas. All right, let's see now. What's next? Let's see. Let's go over to. Oh, we can't do platinum. So let's do platinum here. Where is platinum? Where are you? There it is, right there. April platinum. April platinum's the weekly. Obviously, you can see is not falling down, but the daily is pushing down. And you can see that little push that's going on there. We really have been a big fan of the platinum of late. We've been saying you have to be close to insane to want to short the poor thing. I mean, being $1,000 underneath the gold, why would anybody with any trading mind do that? But you can, and if the thing goes into a weekly sell, next thing you know, it'll be $850 again. Crazy times. You can see here the weekly's not penetrating down any more than what it's doing on the beta. So there it is on the beta, and there it is on our platform that we use. And it's been in a weekly buy now, going on a 7th week. And that'll be interesting to see if they start to break it down. Money, 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 money. Dun, dun, dun. All right, that concludes our look at the platinum because of the South African rand. And there's that rand looking at trying to make it move up like so. And that usually pushes pressure on the metals, and it's playing with the weekly. So we are seeing something try to tell us that don't be so brave to buy yet in the old metals complex. All right, from there, we go over to the energy sector. Let's take a look at North Sea Brent right there. Brent trying to move down. You can see that slope moving down. Normally what happens is that the Canadian, let's put the Canadian up over here. Normally the Canadian is, when oil's going down, Canadian is losing against the dollar going up. You can see the last 4 or 5 days it's doing, or 3 days for sure, 4 days, it's been pushing up. And you can see the weekly is trying to turn right there. So you can see for 3 full days it's been in the buy. That's usually a sign of the energy sector. Let's see if we can get Brent up on the beta. Was that BZ or something like that? There it is right there. And we'll show it to you right here on beta. You see the weekly is trying to turn up. The daily is in the minus. And we are looking at Brent. So again, another little twist there. Over here on West Texas, let's show you what West Texas looks like over here. There it is right there. And there's the West Texas. So that is, let's see, where's it at right there? Okay, so you see West Texas tried to get up to the weekly buy last week, failed at it, rolling over a little bit more. Monday they had to, or I guess you call it Tuesday, they got excited, because Iran was moving a missile frigate that has supposedly 8, what do they call those things? Tomahawks of some form. Their brand of Tomahawk missile, and so that seemed to scare the market. I can't imagine Iran doing anything more than just sailing their boat around, and the Houthis did fire 2 ballistic missiles, which were taken out, so it doesn't really matter. Now that we have a fleet there paying attention to what's going on, I kind of doubt the Houthis can do much. They're not that big a force to begin with. They're just an arm of the Iranian green, whatever they call themselves. And from there, we go over and look at natural gas. Where is nat gas? Right there. There's the March contract. And as you can see, the thing is pressing in that direction like so. The daily didn't get in there yesterday because of the red, but it was up. It was really charged up, moving up there. So there's a little pressure there on the upside when it comes to nat gas. And again, today we're seeing that same thing, and we're still having that problem getting in. But notice that. Right there, we're starting to flirt again. We did that yesterday. We flirted with the the weekly buy. Let's see if we can change something here. I'm just going to change the feed. Let's see. Let's go like that. Go to default and see what it does for yesterday's number. No, it's still the same way. I just want to go to the exchange. I want to look at that yesterday's numbers. Okay, let's see, Nat Gas right there. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, yesterday was that way. It was really dead. How about that? All right. So. Let's move over to that neat little company down in Spain. Oh, let's put it up on J4X too. There's natural gas. It's showing a little strength there too, just like ours is showing right there. Yeah, and there. And when we go to the daily on it, probably matches up pretty much the same way. Woof! Look at that. Lots of green. Lots of green. Whee! There we are. Yeah, look at that. 69 versus 64. You know, it's definitely lifting up. It's trying to really, tell us they want to put prices up, not down. Ooh, look at that right now. We're actually in a full green now. Nice. So we're flirting with a daily buy and we're flirting with a weekly buy. How about that? About time, eh? And that should be over here. Interesting the way it does that. Look at that. It did go into a buy there for that bounce. Let's steal this one. Put that there. And then the next day it went right back into the sell again. There we are. All right. So that is, let's save this to save workspace. Natural gas right there. There we are. So that pretty much takes care of the energy sector. Oh, I want to go after. I want to take a look at that energy company down in Spain. That's always kind of some type of good insight to what's going on. Right there on our beta. And let's put it up over here on J4X. Right there. Trading at 26.79, still moving down. It's nice. And you can see here from the 28.5 area, it's moved down over the last 2 weeks, which is very positive, especially in the center of winter. So that makes things a lot better in the sense that, like to see Europeans not have to pay so much for energy. It seems like once the cat was out of the bag, that European Union sells 20% of the natural gas from Russia to other countries, not to the European Union. Things seem to have calmed down in the interest rate. The cost of natural gas in Europe seems to be backing off a little bit more. That was one of the stranger things we reported here. That out of 100% of what they buy from Russia in natural gas, they sell 20% of it and export it. I'm sure the citizens love to hear that. Socialism at its best. Indeed, indeed. All right, now let's take a look at the stock market and see what the stock market's doing this morning. Here's the intraday. So let's put a little picture up there of the intraday. Right there, that's a goodie. So we were up, the S&P future was up at 4,790 and change, and it stalled out, and it's been in that sell now since right here, since like, is that the European Open? Let's see, what time? A little after the London Open. It went into the sell right there. It's been in the sell since. Now it went into the daily buy. Yeah, daily buy, intraday buy, right there. About let's see, it was about 2 minutes ago. That's what that is. 2 minutes ago. And so it's still trying to lift a little bit in there. They didn't make a new low. I don't believe they just missed the low of yesterday. They went down and challenged it. The low yesterday was 65.50, and today the low is 65.50. So they went down to the low and bounced off of it. I'm playing around with the choking. A guy has a TV advertisement, and I thought, oh, let's just put it up on my work. My math beats choking, so that's no problem there. That's why we do algo wars here. We always hoped that we would get people, other technicians to battle with me, and show their wares. You see right here the daily, intraday right here. It went into the daily sell right there. What time was that? That was at 2:22 Eastern Standard, 2:22:49. So basically at the European Open, and it's been in the sell all the way to, did it make it? Not there. Went into the buy right there for this little bounce. The red and green dots don't mean much when it comes to an intraday chart. You can see it went back into the sell there, and we went back into the buy for this little bounce again. And it went into the sell right here, and made another, and then made the low, and then from there it's trying to get into the buy as we speak right there. Let's see, what was the close there? The close was 67.75. So and we're trading now. Got up to 71.50. So that was a nice little bounce. And we're still in it at the moment. I don't think it's going to last, but we'll see. And so that's the intraday view of the S&Ps. Now let's take a look at the daily. Let's see. Let me just save that. Oh, you didn't see anything I just showed you. I just realized that. Oh, we'll go do that again. Sorry about that, traders. You didn't see anything we were just talking about. Okay. So let's go back to it again. I got to look up on that screen. There it is. There's the intraday. Let's show you today's action. Right there is a 2000 tick. Went into the sell at 2:22 a.m. this morning Eastern Standard, or basically the Madrid / Milan / Swiss / Frankfurt / London / Denmark / opening of markets. And we were in the sell all the way to, right, didn't get there. Stalled there. The first buy was right there. Went into the buy there, and then went back into the sell right there. And you had that nice little ride. And then another buy here. Nice little win. Another little sell that barely did anything right. But it went into the sell right here. Then they made the low of the day right there, and the next bar over, and then now you've turned back up, and we're in a buy since right here, and it's still, it's up about 3 or 4 handles from there, and we'll see how well that rolls over. And this orangey yellow thing, or the reddish, is a choking line. He has a TV advertisement on about his abilities or something like that. And I've always thought Chokin was very close. It's, Tom DeMark and Chokin and have always been very close to my math. They've been behind it. Mine still beats them, but they are two of the market technicians in the world that are very good to pay attention to. You were listening to the background? Cool. Yeah, I was just showing the intraday. So from there, we go into the bigger one right there of the intraday, and you can see the same thing. It went into that sell. Somewhere's around 3-ish and change in Europe, and it just got into the buy off of this one, the big one there, the biggie. You can see the biggest of the big, the 16,000 tick, is basically still in a sell right there. All right, now let's go over to the S&P 500 daily. And there it is. And you can see we have a little red going on again for a third day. The weekly is starting to break down a little bit more. It's below the manifold, so there's some pressure. And that is, as they would say, is that. So traders, we've had enough fun. This is Doc from North America. Come on in again tomorrow. We'll talk about different things. And so my title today is about binaries. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Woo! To all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and smart trading day. Watch out for the 2 o'clock Fed notes. That's 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.